Well, here we are on a nice fall day, mostly blue sky, and we have harnessed up Alpha. Please try to watch my video yesterday from Beta. Beta only got a B-. We're giving them extra practice on ground driving. It's really a hard thing for an alpaca to learn. I found it much easier to teach horses and mini cows to ground drive, but alpacas, they're very much an animal that's concerned about their health and safety. Not so much health, they're not aware of it, but their safety. They're very much a prey animal, and it's hard to have them focus on what we're asking with the ground driving lines. But we have to do that before we can trust that we can hitch them to a cart and take a cart drive on our ranchos trails. So why was he kicking out? I'm not sure. You know, Alpha doesn't like to be touched under his tail, and alpacas generally don't want to be touched on their legs. Now, is he gonna respond to pressure on the right side of the ground driving lines means go to the right, and on the left side means go to the left? He's going into his water tub now. I'm not sure why, because it's certainly not a hot day. It's a kind of a not too cold day. Okay, so I'm going to try to get closer. Yesterday, if you'll watch the video from yesterday, the 3rd of December, I think actually that was the 2nd. I'm not sure. Yesterday was Tuesday. Beta went right into his blue water tub and laid down, even though it was not even as warm as it is today. Is that just something that he did to get away from the pressure and the focus? I'm not sure. Remember, I've only been working with alpacas for a few years. I worked with horses and mini cows for decades and taught them everything I ever was gold to teach them. They eventually learned it with repetition and attention to prerequisite skills. Okay, so the grass is pretty high here in December, so I have to walk slowly, but I'm going to be showing you how Alpha does today, and I'm going to be grading him. He's going to get a grade, not a pass-fail, but a grade. At the charter schools nowadays for homeschooling kids, when I talk to the charter schools, I say, well, do you have report cards? And they said, no, just pass-fail. That doesn't work for math. They don't realize that. The administration doesn't realize that. And I am going to go back into math tutoring after taking a few years off for development of my alpaca efforts. But I'm going to do it with the help of AI. And as time goes on, if you're interested in a very experienced published math tutor, credentialed in math in California, in math teaching, and a PhD from Stanford, please get in touch with soniasokolow@gmail.com. With the help of AI, I'm even willing to do math tutoring online. I've done it before, but I didn't like that I couldn't watch the body language and get good follow through. Now, at least with AI, I'm going to require follow through. Otherwise, I won't tutor our student. He's still kicking out with his right back leg. It's not that kind of a kick that you get from a horse, but you can see he is showing discomfort, resistance. We're just going to hang out back here in the back pasture, the pastures around the sheds, unless Alpha shows immediate great answers. We're not going to go into the big pasture. It's a bigger place, and it's closer all around to the Rancho's trail, so who knows what will come down the trail when he's in the big pasture. He's starting to look around. He's seemingly responsive. I'm coming around. He went back into his tub. I'm not sure if that's a statement or not. Is that a body language statement? Okay, he's willing to come out. Now I see that the ground driving line on his right hip is up high. He's not kicking right this moment. Yeah, now he is. He's stopping to take a bite of teff hay. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out how to let him know that that's the wrong answer. I know he's doing what he by nature is feeling he should do. Okay, I'm gonna walk back. This is shed 3. Walk back over here on the side of shed 3, try to show you how he behaves as he walks through the pasture, the back pasture. We've done this for several months now. We've actually even had the cart sitting in the cart shaft holders, which are just dog collars, and walked around with them. And we didn't have any serious issues. But I'm beginning to realize that with alpacas, you want to keep repetitive training recent, because I don't think that they maintain their understanding and their acceptance for a long time. We just have to remind them to understand and to accept. He's going into the other water tub. That's his choice. Although the grasses are only somewhat high, the leaves are definitely falling constantly, and they can become dangerous because you can't see what's under them. And when I walk, I want to know where I'm stepping, if possible. Yesterday, the 2 little goats that live here were down by my front gate, and when I went through the front gate to go and get my mail, they wanted to follow me. That was not acceptable. It took me literally 1 whole hour to get them to understand that they were not supposed to go through the front gate. And quite frankly, the way I did it, the success I had was because I walked them back up the driveway all the way to where they were accustomed to being. And then I looked back as I walked back down towards the front gate, and they were all settled in, comfortable on the driveway and nearby it, near the house. And I have coined a new phrase for goats. I'm going to have a goat show in the future and try to explain how goats will learn. But I have coined a phrase after yesterday: out of sight, out of mind. As long as I was in sight, I couldn't get them to go the other way where they were used to hanging out. I had to walk all the way up my driveway, and fortunately it's concrete, so I didn't have to deal with potholes. Once I got them back up towards this house, they were fine on staying there. I was worried that they'd follow me back down the driveway because my car was still down there. But they didn't. Out of sight, out of mind. For alpacas, I have a saying: out of mouth, out of mind. I give them carrots every morning and evening in their feeders and bowls, and if the carrot falls out of their mouth, it's like they have forgotten that they were chewing a carrot. It's no longer in their minds. So I have to do a lot of bending down to pick up carrots and put them back in bowls and feeders. And I do it carefully. I am 81 years old, so bending down is not my favorite movement, but that's the only way I can pick up the carrot. Maybe I'll think about getting some kind of an arm extension to pick up carrots. I'll give that some more thought and keep you updated. Okay, that's where Beta went in yesterday, and he actually went all the way down. He laid down in the water. Try to stay behind, Tavis. I know it's hard to remember that, but the objective is to eventually have them pulling the cart with ground driving reins. And you can't be on the side of the cart. You have to be in the seat of the cart, which is behind them. They're trying to be responsive. I can tell by their body language. That's one of the reasons I stopped tutoring over the internet, because I couldn't see body language of the students I was tutoring. But now with the advent and popularity of AI, I think we'll see, because I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to evaluate it and decide whether I'm willing to continue to do it. Okay, now, is he going to go into the water? Yes. Is he going to choose to lay down like Beta did yesterday? We'll see. Nope, he didn't choose to lay down. Can you stay behind? Please. I know we've got obstacles here in the way. Try to take routes where you can stay behind. They've got to know that they're to reply correctly to ground driving line pressures from the rear if they're going to be pulling carts in the future. And they're certainly capable to. Carts are not heavy. Each time we plan a session, a training session, I think about the last time, or the last few times we trained Alpha and or Beta, and I think about prerequisite skills. I think about what the next step should be. And then we'll practice, and we'll show you. And I'll try to stay close by so you can see it. But Alpha's moving so fast, I can't move that fast. He's just on purpose. He is replying to Tavis's requests. I can see Tavis tugging on his ground driving lines. This is shed 2. They used to hang out here every night. I mentioned on Beta's video yesterday, they now have chosen to hang out in the way corner over there where you see the white PVC. So I have lights and cameras so that I can watch them, because I very much worry about neighborhood dogs and wildlife attacking my alpacas at night. See if you can get him to go down the corridor. See, we have a PVC corridor here, which is like a training corridor. We can even have them pull a cart through it. When we get to the point where they actually can pull the carts, can't you stay behind? No? Okay. We'll try to figure out why and what to do about that. So you're going to right-hand turn, I hope, and go between the PVC and the cart. It's narrow, but it's wide enough for an alpaca to walk through. There are going to be times when you're pulling a cart where it's not going to be a wide trail. We've got to get them to accept that. If you go behind and tug with your right hand, I'm curious what he'll do. Not a constant pressure, just a give and take tug. It's becoming more and more obvious that we need a larger team to do this training properly. But with the economy the way it is, with the weather the way it is, I haven't found people who are willing to come out and work with us. But there's no rush. We'll do it as long as the urban alpaca girl is alive and well. And Beta and Alpha stay alive and well. Okay, we're gonna hopefully interview Tavis, my lead trainer, why he feels that, or what we could do so that he doesn't have to get on the side of the body, rather can stay in the back doing the tugging for the back, from the back. We're taking the tack off. Alpha's always been good about tacking. He was the first of the two that was halter trained easily. Okay, now he knows to step up. Okay. Okay. And it is nylon tack, so we're not worried about dropping it in the damp grass. Well, Alpha gets a B+, not a B- like Beta got yesterday, but certainly not an A.
It's doing better when you just like kind of tug on it, you know?
Yeah, but
like
when you're on the side of the body, is it the same feel to him as when you're behind him? That is the issue.
It's getting better.
It is?
Yeah, but...
Okay. All right. That's good news. That's what we want. Prerequisite skills accomplished. Keep going for the ultimate learning training objective. Keep everybody safe and happy, and know where we want to go. Oh, he's interested in the leaf. Interesting. Okay. Okay, well, you've now seen Alpha's next lesson of ground driving, and stay tuned for more such lessons, because he got a B+, and I'm being kind of positive in my thoughts. In some respects, I would say maybe it was just a B, but it wasn't a B-. And knowing qualitatively what that means, if you get a report card for your child for algebra and the child got a B, you know that there's something that the child didn't learn. He didn't do well on his evaluation, otherwise known as a test. So as a proactive parent, you should be following through to figure out what happened. What didn't he or she learn? Okay, the boys are all relaxed. We're opening up the gates again. They like every day to be like yesterday. They don't want gates closed when they're used to being able to go through them.